This is going to be your weekly tarot and oracle forecast. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. We're going to take a look at the energies for the upcoming week, break it down day by day, and let you know how to navigate. So as I'm sitting here filming this, it is officially the new moon in Leo. I'm curious to know in the comments how you're feeling. You know, the last couple weeks or so have been really intense for people. And I think what we've learned throughout the past full moon in Capricorn, actually, I mean, even going further back, the last two full moons in Capricorn, all of that information is coming to a head right now in regards to the new moon in Leo. And you might be wondering, how are they connected? If you felt rocked by those full moons in Capricorn, then now it's time to take what you've learned from that information you received, or that emotion that came to the surface, and implement new things. You know, I would describe this energy right now as a bit of a fork in the road, where you have to make some decisions about which direction you're going to go. And with all the stuff that's been brewing in the last little while, it's more important now than ever to set some intentions and to truly mean what you say. You know, your word is everything right now. Your will is everything. Your will to move yourself forward is more important than anything that could be pulling you backwards. So let's take a look at some overall themes and messages for this week. Now, granted, we have Mercury in retrograde coming as well. I mean, that's basically tomorrow. And that means, you know, some miscommunications, some reevaluation, glitches, you know, the usual Mercury retrograde stuff. But I don't want you in fear of it. I want you to take this as a time really for that reevaluation and to see where you want to move yourself forward to, you know. So let's see these overall themes and messages. And we have here community. Okay, where do you feel a part of a community? How important is community to you? How important is the support of others? Now, we're not always going to have support, okay? Meaning sometimes our friends and family don't necessarily provide the feedback or the help that we need. And that can be really, really tricky during the spiritual journey or the spiritual reawakening, because not everybody understands us. So where do you feel like you have community? If you're seeking community, then you might want to look for like-minded people, whether that's through spirituality, tarot, astrology, whatever you appreciate in the spiritual world. And of course, on the daily, it could be sports, it could be hobbies, it could be music, whatever community you enjoy, then look for that ultimately, right? So with community, let's see what else we need to know during this time. And since it is a new moon, let's take a moonology card and see. Well, there you go. It's time to take action. It is. There's very fiery energy in the air right now. Definitely can't deny that. And with that, we have experienced the greatest love. You know, I've been saying this a lot lately. It's time to open your heart. You know, Leo season is about fire and passion and moving forward. And wow, Leos, they love hard. That's why they're one of the most overgiving signs of the zodiac. You know, they just love people so much. Now, ultimately, we're not here to overgive, overdo, problem solve for everyone, be everything to everyone. But it is important to experience the greatest love. And how else do we do that other than loving ourselves, putting ourselves in the gold medal position, right? Think about that in regards to the Olympics. You want to be on top of the podium. You want to be the winner of your own experience, right? You are the champion. You know, wear that medal proud that you have earned that recognition for all the hard work you've done for yourself and growth. So let's take these cards and put them to the side. We'll maybe take a look at them a little bit later if anything pops up. But I want to take a look at the energy for each day of the week. Now, Monday, you know, Mercury retrograde. Let's see what we need to know. The fates. Well, a lot of interesting energy right now that is bringing things to light, as in what's meant to be. You know, we've got to acknowledge where we're at. Let's see. On Tuesday, milk and honey. I love that. That's about satisfaction. The rainbow energy is so healing. There's so much abundance there, so much sweetness. You know, you can have it. Your fate can be to have all the things you want. The question is, are you willing to put yourself in a position to receive it? Now on Wednesday, we have Treasure Island. Look at this beautiful energy. I mean, we can't deny that this is extremely positive, that there is a treasure here. You know, the turtle energy can be very slow, but it's also very prosperous. You know, it's almost like that slow and steady wins the race. I've been talking about this a lot lately, you know, especially in my Kelly talks that I did with my friend Miro. We talked about instant gratification and why that can get us into trouble. You know, anything that's instant gratification, you know, it can ride in so quickly and leave just as fast. Are you willing to take the slow approach and see where it takes you? Let's take a look at Thursday. By the book. You know, it's interesting. Whenever I see this card, I kind of think a little bit opposite to what you might anticipate. And that is, we don't always have to be by the book. There is no handbook to life necessarily, right? It all depends on your perspective, your experiences, your childhood, what you've learned, right? So you don't always have to be by the book. Not everybody's going to be on the exact same timeline. So, you know, I would invite you to think about maybe doing something different than you normally would. You don't always have to be by the book. And let's take a look at Friday. Time to go. And this is my point. Like, you've got to let something go in order for the new to come in. You don't always have to be so controlled or so particular about things. And let's see, Saturday. Go the distance. Now's the time. And when I said slow and steady, that is going the distance, meaning you are on a long journey. Well, that's life. You know, we're lifelong learners. This journey is going to be day by day, step by step, until the day we leave this earth. Okay? And therefore, if you want the best of the best of the best, you've got to be willing to have the short-term pain, long-term gain, instead of the short-term gain and the long-term pain. Let's take a look at Sunday. And we have a change in the wind. This is my point. It's time to do things differently. And a sneak peek at the following week. No place like home. When I see this, I think about inner identity. Like, who are you at your core? You know, something to think about. Whenever one asks, who are you? What are the typical answers? I mean, maybe take a second and think about it while I ask this question. Who are you? Most people will answer a job title. You know, they will answer a son, daughter, mother, wife, husband, son, brother. We get sort of these labels. You know, I always find most people are answering with their profession. You know, like, I'm a teacher, I'm a tarot card reader, I'm a real estate agent, I'm a sales associate, I'm whatever, you know. And is that really who you are? And I mean, even if you are a mother or a father, that's a wonderful role. But that's what you provide to other people. That's what you give to your children, right? And there's nothing wrong with giving. But at the same time, you know, what are the adjectives within you? You know, are you happy? Are you fulfilled? Are you excited? You know, everything after I am is super powerful. So if I say to you right now, I am insert blank, what would you write? What are you? Who are you? I'm a very happy person who loves what she does. I'm very grateful for what I get to do every day. So I want you just sort of to take a second and think about who you are, but not in the context of labels. I want you to think about the adjectives that describe you. Let's go back to the fates. So maybe there's something coming to light on Monday with regards to Mercury retrograde, where something that's meant to come to light will. And let's see what the tarot card says. The King of Pentacles, it's so in line with what I'm saying. Look, the King of Pentacles is a long journey. It's slow. Any pentacle energy is wow, like super slow, turtle slow, snail slow, like molasses, you know, but there's abundance in the long run. There's wisdom, there's knowledge. You know, what's meant to be will meant to be. You're going to get from point A to point B. It's just, how will you get there? Will you get there in a straight line? Or will you have twists and turns along the way? It all depends on the lessons you learn and how you implement the knowledge. Because right now with that new moon in Leo, this is about implementation of what you've learned over the last while. Now, milk and honey, this is about moving on to calmer waters and peace. Like the rainbow here represents that peace and that harmony. And it represents timing. You know, everything is in divine timing. You can't force anything. And you have to recognize that that treasure you have is within you. The thing is that you can't sit on the sidelines forever. No risk, no reward. You know, the Three of Wands says, maybe sitting on the sidelines a little bit too much, saying, I'll do this tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. When will you make that move? When will you stop being so by the book and so regimented and let go of a bit of that control? When will you fly by the seat of your pants here, or by the beat of your own drum? The Knight of Wands is that passion in the pants, that motivation. You know, you want to maintain that feeling of drive. Now that time to go energy here, yeah, you got to trust the process. You got to let go and trust the process and see where it takes you. Now I know, like I said earlier, that Pentacles energy is slow. I mean, look, we know that this Knight of Pentacles isn't even on the horse. That's how painfully slow it can be. However, it can be super rewarding in the long run. Having earned something. There's no better feeling than having earned something. Let's take a look here at go the distance. The moon. You've got to trust your intuition. You've got to rely on yourself in this aspect. You can't rely on others. You know, this is the thing about community where it gets a little tricky. You know, I think the difficulty is that we want to feel balanced. We want to feel supported, but we don't want to be told what to do. And it's hard with friends and family because everybody likes to chime in about what we're supposed to do or what they think we should do. And I'm reminded of a quote from The Alchemist where, you know, please don't quote me verbatim, but it's basically something along the lines of, you know, people love to tell others how to live, you know, but do they actually follow that energy or that rule themselves? And oftentimes people love to talk and chime in and have an opinion and think they're providing some sort of community, when in reality, they're just trying to force an opinion or an agenda, you know, because people love keeping you in the energy of overgiving and doing things for them, because why wouldn't they? It's up to you to say, no, I'm not doing that. So the thing about community, in my opinion, is that it needs to be a safe environment where you can feel free to express yourself, you know, inquire about things, be curious about your journey in life, engage in new activities or connections, but yet feel like you have the freedom to do as you please. So that's why I ask, you know, what community do you feel really strongly about, or do you want to be a part of? Now, a change in the wind. Yeah, you've got to get on that motorbike and have an adventure and move yourself forward. And this sneak peek at the following week, no place like home. Home is where the heart is. This is my point. When you find you, you find love. You even find love with another person. You can't go searching for home in another person because you are the home. It's all about you. And that's really beautiful energy for the upcoming week. Okay, let's get some oracle cards here to clarify even further. See, along the road, all right, this long road, you're going to have illusions. You're going to have confusion. You're going to make a decision and it may not be exactly what you want, and that's okay. I think this is my point whenever I say check your work, you know, have a hypothesis, but then go and test that out. Because sometimes what you think is the answer may not be, and it can lead you to other learning and experiences that really truly lead you to the answer that you needed. You know, back to the alchemist, you know, one embarks on a journey thinking that this is the be all end all, and then realizes, well, wait a minute, maybe it wasn't this the entire time. So let's see on Tuesday here that milk and honey and moving on to calmer waters. You know, the mother energy. The mother is about nurturing. And funny that I mentioned, you know, being a mother, you know, earlier, or the label, you know, or title of mother. The thing is that there's a confusion about what mother energy means. I think societally, we look at mothers as, you know, people who give, overgive, they're everything to everyone, and they put themselves last. But mother energy is actually about nurturing and trusting the process and leaning back, and about receptivity versus giving, which is very masculine. You know, I was mentioning this earlier in the week, and that is, if you're feeling really exhausted because of the overgiving, overdoing, and problem solving you're doing, more than likely it means you're in your masculine energy, not your feminine. And so therefore you have to find peace through nurturing and trusting the process and allowing everything to unfold, which of course is the hardest thing to do. If it was easy, everybody would do it, you know? So let's see this Three of Wands where we're sitting on the sidelines. Yeah, the Pearl. This is about emotionally opening up the treasure within you. I mean, the Pearl is the treasure here. Emotional force, opening up, experiential wisdom, learning through experience, which is what I just said. Honesty, being truthful to ourselves and others. Trusting our intuition. We talked about that with the moon. Diving deep, discovering things that are hidden that can help us grow and change. There's layers to everything. There's a process to everything. It's not just cut and dry. It's not just one way or the other, or it has to be this. Who says? You know? And developing character. Whoa, jeez. Well, there's all the character that came out. There you go. There's all these endless possibilities. Excuse me. Okay. Now the Virgo tendencies in me are like, make sure they all align, but that's okay. Even if they don't, it's no big deal. Let's take a look at the Knight of Wands here. Maybe it was all the emotions coming out. See, look, pack your bags for a new adventure. This also means deal with any of the stuff that you've been sweeping under the rug, you know, and let it go so you can open up to new adventures. Next phase. And that trusting the process. You know, some of you are in this energy, and I've said it many times recently, that there's so many people who are in this, well, it's so unlikely. Oh, you know, I don't know. It's taking too long. Why is it not happening the way I want it to? Well, more than likely trying to control the situation. And that's where we get the problems. Now, the moon energy here, see, happening now. Well, there's a confirmation of the new moon in Leo energy, but essentially for the coming week. I mean, this is for Saturday. But going the distance, trusting your intuition, it's happening now. If you're not doing it now, when are you going to do it? And the Knight of Swords. Yeah, things might be complicated. They might be a hassle. Okay, because I want to just go back to this card here underneath. Why am I having difficulties lifting these cards today? Pardon me. I'm dropping cards. Can't seem to lift them. A change in the wind. Everybody thinks that making changes has to be complicated. It doesn't. It can be one small thing, one little thing that you can do today to make a difference, and be willing to see where it takes you. You know, it's been coming up quite a bit, you know, even in my talk with Miro, the idea that it takes like 21 days to form a habit. You know, you need a good month in order to sort of see a change in the energies. And this sneak peek at the following week, person of earth, groundedness. You know, we talked about no place like home, feeling grounded. What grounds you? Is it going out in nature? Is it a salt bath? Is it meditation? Being around, you know, a group of people? Is it the community? You know? Let's get some moon messages here to see what else we need to know to close this out. Rocky shore, bumpy ride, uncertain outcome, stay the course. And this is the whole point. Trust the process, stay the course, even if it's tough. Pinnacle, divine nature, true destiny, purifying and cleansing. Look at the fog down here. You know, that's the confusion, that's the complication, but you're getting to the pinnacle here. It takes time, it takes effort, consistency. Attraction, stop chasing, let it flow. Use your charms. I mean, this is the energy of the Three of Wands. I don't chase, I only attract. And I'm not going to sit on the sideline. I'm going to put out the energy that I want to attract. Do you ever notice as a very small example that when you smile at someone, it incites a smile back? Generally, of course. Or laughter is contagious. You know, when you can't stop laughing at something, it's like the person around you or people around you kind of burst out laughing too. What you put out is what you get back. And this says full circle. Coming to completion and beginning again. And remember, oh, that's Pandy. We're getting all these little, oh, Pandy. Pandy's knocking into my camera here. We're starting again, but remember, we're not starting with zero. We're starting with knowledge that we didn't have before. On that note, Pandy was giving you all a nudge into that new energy to begin again. So thank you so much for listening to my reading. I really appreciate it. As always, I need your likes, your comments, your subscribe. They really mean the world to me. I wish you the most amazing week and happy new moon in Leo.